Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we are taking a look at 3 different Transformers core class figures. Those being Rise of the Beasts Exosuit Noah Diaz, Rise of the Beasts RC, and Legacy Energon Megatron. Now the reason for me grouping all 3 of these into just one video is because they're core class figures and they're just very small and you don't really have a lot to talk about them for a full video. So I'm instead just going to put all 3 of them in this one video. So yeah, Core Class was a line that was introduced back in Transformers Kingdom, and it was just supposed to be a smaller, more affordable size class with more simple figures. And it went all the way through. We got Core Class figures in Studio Series, and then we got some in Legacy, but by the time we got to Age of the Primes, we were done with Core Class. I can understand why they stopped making core class figures. You know, they shelf warmed a lot and a lot of times they weren't even worth the price, and especially since they went for around $16 Canadian. Now there are definitely some core class figures I want to get, like the Studio Series Bumblebee movie, Shockwave, and Starscream. And there is that pretty cool Optimus and Bumblebee 2-pack. But now let's talk about these 3. And we'll start with Noah Diaz. So let's start off with the elephant in the room with this one. The big ol' airplane on his back. Yeah, I guess they just really didn't want to sell this if it didn't transform, so they just threw in a little airplane on his back that he can transform into. But they did give you the ability to take it off. And now we can look at it as a film accurate version. The sculpting here actually looks very nice. He has the blade, which is molded in, unlike the gun. He's got a lot of really good details in here, a lot of accurate ones. He's got a lot of good paint, except for on the back. And then we got the face, and this isn't Anthony Ramos's face, this is just some weird flux capacitor in there. My guess is just that they weren't able to get the actor's face in there because of some legal reasons, or if this was just a concept design. But it's definitely an interesting design. Now, while I do like a lot of the paint in some of these areas, I do wish these little black squares on his chest were painted red. Now, I know you've already been seeing it for this whole video, but the gun, it's pretty cool. It's definitely not really accurate to the one that's in the movie, but again, I'm assuming this is a concept art thing. It just plugs into the hand and it looks pretty cool. Now the articulation on this guy is not too bad since he's all ball joints. You are able to get him into some pretty good poses with these joints. Now we can move on to RC from Rise of the Beasts. This is probably one of the most meh core classes of all time, and I don't even really own all the core classes. She definitely should have been a deluxe since she doesn't really look that good compared to the other Rise of the Beast figures, and she definitely could have used better engineering and a little bit more height. The face sculpt is actually pretty solid, and the gun is definitely a bit weird since, you know, it really looks like she's just holding it, even though in the movie the guns came out of her hands. The wheels that are on her back are not really accurate at all. It's supposed to be 2 of them on the back here, but instead it's one of them that just kind of flops around here and doesn't really tab in too well. And then one of them just splits into 2 on the feet. And the benefit of this is that these wheels can actually flip down, and once you get them down, you can recreate that one scene in the movie where she's using the wheels as like the roller skates. But I mean, then when they're up, they're just these 2 little black blobs on the back of her feet, and then they just make her look all chunky. Now, I definitely think the posing is a lot worse on this figure than the Noah Diaz figure, since this one doesn't have any feet articulation, and it also has the big old thing on the back that you can't really take off. So yeah, just a very mid figure overall. Now we have the Legacy figure, and like these 2 who are both Studio Series 1. This is Legacy United Energon Universe Megatron. Now, I'm probably just gonna say something that's gonna make me seem very unreliable, but I have never actually watched Transformers Energon, but I do recognize this design. Now, looking at the designs right next to each other, I do think this is a pretty faithful adaptation of the Energon Megatron design. I've always found this to be a very satisfying looking design with the bright green, the blue, and the light grays, and the blacks. It all just comes together to form a very distinct looking design, and it has some pretty cool shapes to it with the blasters on the shoulder and the wings on the back. His weapon is a little tank blade that just plugs right into his arm, and it looks pretty cool, although it could have used a bit of color, but again, it's core class, it's cheap, and they probably put most of the money into the robot mode. The articulation on this guy isn't too good though. He doesn't have any real foot articulation, and the rest of his articulation is just standard articulation, but a lot of the other parts just get in the way. So those are the core class figures robot modes. Mostly fine, but yeah, let's get them into their vehicle modes. Now we can talk about the vehicle modes, and let's first start with Noah Diaz. And I mean, do I even have to say anything about this? It's just him laying down with an airplane drone strapped to his back and the gun attaches to the front. But I mean, it's a pretty nice looking airplane sculpt, but I mean, the feet are out on the back and he's just kind of laying there. Moving on. RC actually looks pretty nice. The red and white go pretty well together. Some gold in there. It's pretty nice looking. And the gun, it actually goes inside here as a kickstand to keep up the motorbike. Energon Megatron is a very good looking jet from the show. I really like the colors on this, the chrome, the blue, all looks very nice. Pretty much every compliment I had about the looks from the robot mode can be applied here. And I like how the little tank goes up top. And yeah, I gotta admit, these things aren't really worth the asking price, because when you're buying one, it's $16 and plus tax would be around $20 Canadian, and that is just not even close to being worth. Like, some of these aren't that great. Like, RC's very mid. I think Energon Megatron's cool, but not worth it. And same with Noah Diaz. I think these should be at least like max $10. But I mean, I am glad they're discontinuing the size class, since I mean, I think if they just kept going with it, they'd just constantly shelf war them and nobody would really buy them, and they would just also get more expensive. And is anybody really gonna buy a $25 core class figure? No one's gonna buy that. So I think they discontinued this at the right time, and I really hope we get a new affordable size class for the main line. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that's all I have to say for this video. Thanks for watching, and goodbye. Just trying to record a video, and then this beast shows up. Hello, Finji. Yeah, I don't think I'm getting the table back from him.